The Toronto Raptors have now won 5 straight games to get to 6-3 on the season, and all of this has been without their best player, Pascal Siakam, and the last couple of games have been without, honestly, like their second or third best player of the season in Scotty Barnes. So welcome back to the channel, guys. We have a Raptors recap video here. The Raptors, they got a commanding win on the road against the Washington Wizards tonight. We're going to go ahead, break it down, do a little bit of a recap. Now, I do apologize. My last copyright strike is gone tomorrow, so this should be the last time you guys see these clips. And then also, I am deathly sick. Not deathly sick, I'm dramatic, but I feel like shit. I feel like straight up shit. So, you know, I'm doing what I can here. So, this was a great game. I was able to watch this whole game because I haven't really done much today. So, I have a lot of comments on this game. First off, I really like that Khem Birch started the second half. And also, you know, with Precious Achiuwa and Khem Birch and how there's kind of like a little interpositional battle going on, I will say this. Precious Achiuwa defensively for me is just fine. I mean, he's just fine. It's just the shooting slumps that he is going through or that he is in right now. It's not the prettiest sight from week to week or game to game. So, before we get into any further in this video, if you guys wouldn't mind hitting that like button, hitting that sub button, let's aim for 100 likes on today's video. I believe I'm about 150 subscribers away from 9,000 subs, so every new subscriber, it means a lot to me, and then every like, every comment from my OG subscribers, like, thank you guys so much, because that pushes this to new people. Freddie V, man. You're not going to lose a basketball game if your point guard has, I should say names, you're not going to lose a basketball game if Fred VanVleet has 30, Gary and Zvi have 15, and OG has at least 20. So if all those guys have at least those points, I mean, what does that add up to be? 80 points. So if 4 of the Raptors, like top dogs for the night, are scoring 80 combined points on a night in to night out basis, I got bad news for the rest of the league. They got the win 109-100 tonight, led by Freddie's 33 points. You know what? Let's get this started with talking about Freddie V, man. I mean, I'm loving it. I'm loving it right now. I mean, this dude has been phenomenal in the last couple of games. And I noticed this right away. I noticed this right before tip-off when they were showing Freddie's statistics. He's averaging like 5 to 6 assists in this win streak. And then before the win streak, so the first couple of games of the season, he was averaging like 9. This is good. I promise you, this is good because the Raptors have not had issues scoring the basketball recently. And here's the thing, who's complaining about 6 assists every single night from your starting point guard? It's not going to be me. One of the big issues I had with Freddie's start to the season is he just wasn't really being aggressive, and you have to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's been playing with Kyle Lowry for years and years, so he was thrown into this new role, if you will, like the captain of the team, captain of the offense, to try and facilitate, to try and play make, and I feel like he just put a little bit too much of an emphasis on other players and setting up his teammates. The best way for Freddie V to play that point guard position is to do his thing, is really just doing a little bit of both worlds. I love when he does his thing because when he does his thing, not only does it translate to the rest of the team, but it helps generate open shots, more open looks, because so much of the focus defensively is going to be on Fred because he's got 33 points on efficient shooting. So that's something I've been loving from Fred. I mean, just more aggressive, more threes, more field goals. It's been awesome. And like I said, who's complaining about 6 assists per game? Because it's not going to be me. Gary Trent Jr., he goes through some streaks. Like I mean, everyone kind of knows this. He is a little bit of a streaky shooter. 3 steals for him. Now, the Raptors lead the league in deflections per game by, and it's not even close. I mean, it really isn't even, it's by at least 4 or 5 deflections, especially after tonight. I mean, they're averaging over 25 deflections per game at this point in time. Gary Trent Jr., 3 steals, man. I know he's mentioned that he got ragged on his defensive, like, I don't even know, like, lacking defensive talent. I don't even know what the word was, but they were talking about that on the broadcast. Like, Gary said he's been hearing that since high school and that it means absolutely nothing to him. And you can tell he is improving, like, game by game, week by week by week, and then obviously year to year, he is significantly improving on that defensive end. I love his confidence. First off, I mean, he is just such a confident shooter, a confident defender. Now, that does hurt the Raptors at times when he'll be making a couple of his shots. Maybe he just made like a mid-range and a three-pointer. He'll get the rebound, he'll push it, and he'll take like a transition three with 20 seconds left on the shot clock, and it's like, all right, you know, maybe like he's basically just heat checking himself, and it's like, all right, maybe not as much per games, but when he is, you know, going for those heat checks and he makes those heat checks, it is a sight to see. So I actually don't really have an issue at it at all, because if the Raptors' one concern heading into this season without Pascal is half-court offense, take as many damn threes as you want, because they go in at a high rate. 2 of 8 for him tonight, so a little bit off, but I mean, I'm still going to take 2 threes from Gary Trent on a night-in, night-out basis. Svi, I mean, same thing, man. 15 points, 5 rebounds, 2 threes. He had a steal, had a great steal. He is so underrated. What did the Raptors get him at? Like 2 years, $3.5 million a year? It is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, shout out Bobby, shout out Masai. They found this guy that hadn't really gotten an opportunity on a basketball team. Like, he's been on rebuilding teams, like obviously Detroit, obviously Oklahoma City Thunder, where he was given a little bit more room to navigate. But I know that the Raptors organization, they saw this guy and they're like, he's just ready for this now. I mean, he's 24 years old, overseas, like, he's just super solid. Thank goodness the Raptors knew that and picked him up, because he has been a huge help, especially in the last 2 games, getting those spot starts for an injured Scotty Barnes, who obviously they're just resting. There isn't any long-term issue with that. OG Anunoby, 21 points, 5 rebounds. Maybe he has to work on finishing, but then again, I mean, it's still week to week, year by year, he is improving in every facet of his game. Tonight, you saw him shoot 45% from the field, very impressive, 9 of 20, and then 3 of 5 from downtown, 3 steals and a block. OG Anunoby, I mean, he's hitting his stride right now. On the season, he's averaging over 20 points per game, about 6 rebounds per game. He is definitely hitting his stride, and with Pascal coming back in about 2 weeks, I anticipate and imagine and would bet on it that in these next 2 weeks, OG Anunoby is going to be dropping at least 20 points per game pretty much every single time. Precious Achiuwa, I kind of already mentioned him. 6 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists for him. Defensively, I mean, he's fine on the defensive end. He actually got 26 minutes compared to 21 from Khem Birch tonight, who, speaking of Khem Birch, 9 of 5 and 2 off the bench. I'm fine with it, man. I'm fine with it. These are good issues to have. I think Precious is just going through a major shooting slump right now. He's what, 4 of 15, 4 of 16 in his last 2 games. It's not very pretty, but he's rebounding the ball. He's playing good defense. He's holding his own, and it's not much to really complain about at all. Delano Banton, 5 points, 3 rebounds. He's more 2 steals as well. He's more of that guy where unless you're watching the games, you probably don't really recognize Delano Banton's impact. I mean, first off, he's ridiculously fast, but he gets everyone going. He's just plays good defense. I mean, he does it all as well. What a significant steal found by the Raptors organization once again. Then Chris Boucher saw a little bit of run tonight, 17 minutes, 5.6 rebounds from him, no defensive stats. So that's it for today. It was a great game to watch. Now the Toronto Raptors are 6-3. So if you guys enjoy it, you want Raptors videos at least 7 times a week, be sure to hit that like button and hit that sub button as we try to get to 9,000 subs. But once again, if you're still watching it at this point, if you wouldn't mind hitting a like, but hitting the like on this video, because it really helps. Let's try and aim for 100, and that's it for me. Peace.